Alright, we're going to go ahead and start off with the Honda here, since this guy's going to most likely take the longest. Like I said in the previous video, low hours on this guy, but it is seized up. It is a Japanese-made Honda lawnmower. Again, I'm sorry for the wind. It's windy today. It is a Japanese-made Honda lawnmower, made in Japan, shipped over here. These are really, really good mowers. Now, I haven't really checked on any of these cables. Seems like the cables move okay. Seems like that's moving all right. Yep, everything's moving. So none of the cables are frozen up. It doesn't have the bag, but I do have a residential Honda that has a bag, but oh, it's actually right there. I have a residential Honda that has the bag, but the mower or the engines, it runs, but the tabs are actually broken off. So when you try to pull it over, it actually lifts the engine cover off of it and disengages. I used it for a lot of years that way. But the bag off this guy may fit the same on that guy. So if it does, that guy will have a bag, grass catcher. But what we're going to go ahead and do, I'm going to be putting these guys away, putting them in storage. I believe it's going to start raining here very soon. There's some grumpy clouds above me. So we're going to go ahead, tilt this guy upwards. We're going to store it upwards. There's a quick unlock right here, which is really nice. If I can do it with one hand. Oh, there's one on the other side too. There we go. Whenever you fold up a mower like this, you always want to make a point to take a look at your cables here. You bend one, kink one, they won't work the same again. What we're going to do though is mix up some ATF that I have lying around. Doesn't really matter to me what it is, with some diesel. I'm going to pour it in that cylinder sitting upright so the cylinder is soaking. And I'm going to leave it like that and come back probably during the weekend. It'll sit for probably about a week. And we'll come back and see if it's still seized up. And if so, I'll pull the cover off and get a ratchet, maybe a socket, maybe a breaker bar or something. See if we can get this thing to turn over. And then take the bore scope into the cylinder and see exactly what happened. See if it seized due to the lack of oil, or if it seized from sitting. You'll see a rust ring. I'm hoping it's just from sitting, and again, thankfully it's top dead center. When it stopped, that means that if there is a rust ring, it's going to be in the very, very top of the cylinder, which is like the best place for them. So let's go ahead and get that diesel and stuff in there. I'll probably do it off camera. I don't have my camera stand today. Or do I? If I find my camera stand, you'll see me mixing that up in the next video. Close to an ounce kerosene. Where is the ATF that I had? It's right there in front of me. So that's about 1 ounce of kerosene to 2 ounces of ATF. I'm going to pour that into a bottle so we can keep it for later. Doesn't take much. Doesn't take much at all to make this mix. You really don't need a ton. I'm going to go ahead and put this here. I mixed it in an 80W90 bottle. We're just going to put some fluid in. I guess there might be a valve open. We're going to pour in a little more. Oh, okay, both valves are closed. It actually started overflowing there. So it is actually top dead center, which is pretty cool. You can see the fluid is full. Okay, what we're gonna do, because that is upright right now, to pour it in easily, we're going to store it upright, but I'm going to put this spark plug in to keep dust and any other possible contaminants that have, I'm sure there's already some in there. We're just gonna throw that spark plug in. I don't know. I don't think this is deep enough. No, this is an overhead valve Honda. No, sorry, an L-head Honda. So that might be close to the correct spark plug for it. I'm used to overhead valve Hondas. I'm putting that on there just because I can. Gives it a place to be. But we're gonna leave this now for about a week or more. Just depends on what, when I get back here again to work on this and work on the rest of these mowers. But this guy will be soaking for the next little while. It's best to let these soak as long as you possibly can. If you put this mixture in, don't be trying to get it unlocked right away. Give it at least 2 or 3 days. A week is good. Anything longer than that, it's probably a waste. Anything more than a week, if it's not going to unlock or unseize, it's not going to at that point. You can try a little bit of heat. You can warm up the cylinders and try to get some heat into them to get, metal expanding and stuff like that. But usually this does a pretty good job. Got some kerosene mixed with ATF. All right, we're gonna leave it alone. Leave it be for a while. See you in the future. Neighbors, gonna get back to this guy. It's been about 2 weeks since I last made that video. One thing I've already noticed, as you can see, as I'm pulling these things off by hand, and the ratchets, somebody's already been into this. These were loose, so somebody's already had this top end apart, I think. We're going to go ahead and pull that spark plug too. I think that was just finger tight. It was. Yeah, still full of fluid. So none of it leaked down past the rings, which isn't the best thing in the world. I'm going to go ahead and put that spark plug back in there. It's leaking fluid everywhere. We're going to see if we can get this thing broken loose. Find the right socket size. There we go. Just going to see, turn it by hand, see what happens here. Ha! Seized no more. It's tight. It's tight. Yeah, that is really tight. With it being as tight as it is, it makes me want to say that it was seized from lack of lubrication. Even though the oil in this didn't look that dirty, it had the right kind of dirty consistency. Because if you got an engine that's been hurt and it's got brand spanking new oil in it, it's because they went oops and they tried to change the oil after the fact. But there's really nothing in that. There's really almost no oil in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put some oil in it real quick. Get that topped off now that we've got it unseized. And we're going to see what it looks like. I think I do actually. I've got, what are they called? Booger scopes, the things that you look down into the cylinder with. I've got one of those here. So I'm going to go grab that real quick. We're going to look at that cylinder before we put oil in it. If the cylinder looks okay, I'm going to go ahead and throw oil in it and see what we can do about getting this thing running again. Alright, tubers. So I tried looking with the booger scope. I've got a Maxi Video. It's this guy, Maxi Video MV400. It looks like. I was trying to get that guy in there, and the piston sits more here, the valves sit more on this side, and there's a wall in between, and it doesn't allow me to go over with the camera. I can't get it over there, so we're gonna go ahead and reassemble it here. Not much reassembling needed other than just putting the pull string back on. And then we will try turning it over a little faster with the pull string, see if it loosens up at all. I actually had a big engine, I think a 13 horsepower engine on a snowblower seize up because of no lubrication. And we actually saved that engine. It doesn't even burn oil at this point. No rod knock, no nothing. And it's been about 2 years we've been using that thing, so. Oh, see how tight that is? It is not want to move. I'm gonna guess that bottom end must be just tight. The blade's not moving, right? The blade's not moving. See if we can just get this thing turning over a little faster here. Tilting it forward, just trying to get oil into places. Oil down into the front part, the cylinder. Trying to tilt the oil around. Get it loosened up at all. Alright. It's still obnoxiously hard to pull. Does it have any compression? Just do the old finger trick. Oh yeah. There's some compression there, surprisingly. Let's just see if it'll start. It's hard to pull. At this point, there's not much we can lose. This isn't industrial. It's worth rebuilding if and it ends up having a rod knock or something like that. I think it's worth rebuilding. Let's get that spark plug in there a little bit tighter. I can tell somebody's put the wrong spark plug in this at one point. Either that or they tried unseizing it by pushing on the top of the piston and didn't realize that it wasn't the top of the piston because there's marks on it. Let's just see what it does, if anything. Actually kicking. I see a little bit of smoke coming out of the cylinder there. It actually started suddenly getting a little bit easier and then kicked off a couple times there. I think it's in a long time. That fuel smells pretty rancid in the carburetor area. I'm going to take a break for a second. It is getting easier to pull over. Like quite a lot actually. But I'm still tired. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to pull that spark plug out. Make sure it's clean. And maybe put some fuel in it. I'm going to pull that. Probably pull that bowl off first. See what that looks like. See you in a second, tubers. Alrighty, tubers, got the carburetor off. Somebody's been in here scratching. I've been scratching in there. What, Louie? Hush. Got my dog over there making noises. So we're gonna go ahead and empty that out. I've got, let's see, that's good oil. We'll empty this out somewhere that is planet friendly. But we're gonna go ahead. The bowl really doesn't look too bad. I'm just gonna spray straight up inside there and see if that jet is clogged or not. If it is, I'll pull the carburetor off. If it's not, then I'm just gonna spray it out some more. And oh, that carburetor's not plugged, surprisingly. Louie, hush. Come here. Come here. Good boy. Stay right here. So, what we're going to go ahead and do is clean out that bowl. Like I said, I'm going to empty that into a planet-friendly. Going to empty that guy out into a planet-friendly capture device. I can't think of, like, I'm just going to put it in a thing of dirty oil. You can hide it in the dirty oil. Nobody cares. My dog has decided to eat some old grass off the lawnmower. That's great. Is that tasty? Is that old grass tasty? Pose for the camera, why don't you? Anyways, so that wasn't that good, was it? He's like, ah, this stuff's gross. Anyways, there's your engine number if anybody was interested. It's a GB200. What is that, a 6 horse? 5 horse, I think. So that jet up inside there is not plugged, which is good. I'm going to clean out that bowl really quick, reassemble it. I'm going to put some B12 chem tool, as well as some fresh ethanol-free gasoline in the tank. We're going to try starting it and seeing if we can get this thing running from seized to running in a matter of a day. Well, I guess it hasn't been a day. It's been more like 2 weeks. Anyways. What are you doing, dude? You gonna help me with the mower? Alright, so you can see that filter hasn't changed in a very long time. It's pretty nasty. So, Louie, hi, come here. Come here. Sit. Sit. Hey, sit. Sit down. Be quiet. So, we're going to go ahead and turn the fuel on here. And fill that bowl back up with fuel. I cleaned out what was in the bowl, totally cleaned out. I confirmed that there's fuel flow to the carburetor. So it should have fuel now. It is in, let's see, that's choke. Just confirming, I'd rather have it in high, no choke. I make sure that the fuel, or the butterfly actually moves. Yep, butterfly moves. You always want to check that on these carburetors, because so often they get stuck. People will start these things up and they just redline. Wah! Always want to make sure your butterfly and your carburetor moves. It does. So we're going to go ahead and try starting it again. There's enough carb cleaner down in there from spraying up into the carburetor to start it on or run it on. It's got fuel now. Let's see what happens. The blades are not on. He's not in any danger. He's fine. Dead. Come here. Let's take you over here for a second. All right. Flooded it. So I think it sucked in most of that fuel. first time I pulled it. Yeah. All right. Go ahead and spray this guy off. It's obviously got spark, so we don't need to check for spark. Still have no idea what this spark plug came out of. I think it may have come out of my air compressor. Previous video, if you haven't seen that, I'll put a link on the screen somewhere, or put it down in the description. I think that came out of my generator, air compressor. I was kind of disheartened earlier when I first saw it start and all the blue smoke. Oh man, this thing's gonna smoke. Then it dawned on me, we put a whole bunch of kerosene and oil into the cylinder to get it unseized. Of course it's gonna smoke. It's like, doy. Try pulling it 3 or 4 more times and then we're gonna put a little carb cleaner into the intake again. It's definitely smoky. That could still be oil and diesel in the muffler, but I doubt it. How much it's smoking. Probably will need a rebuild. I'm gonna let it run for a little bit, see if it clears up. Oh, it'll idle. Idle's not set on it, but it will idle. It is actually running. Let's see if that's gotten any easier. Oh yeah, feels like a regular lawnmower now. Smells, it doesn't smell like it's burning oil. It smells like, again, there's stuff in that exhaust. Because that smoke, it's still in there pretty thick. As you can see. I feel like that'll clear up once we let it run for a little bit. Because if it was burning oil, it wouldn't do that when you turn it over. It'll only smoke or burn oil when it's running and actually burning it and making it blue. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it again, let it run for a little while, see what happens. This is one that I'm probably gonna end up keeping for myself. I like these old Hondas. This is an old commercial Honda. This guy, so what was happening earlier is I was trying to get the drive to work and it wasn't running. I'm like, this isn't making any sense. Well, this older style Honda, I actually just sold my old Honda. Again, previous video, a long time ago. I might be able to find it and link it here in the description. That one was designed so you can run just the drive and not the blades, but this one is designed, you have to engage the blades first, and then you're allowed to turn the drive on and off. But it's confusing me because this was on this side. Someone reassembled this wrong, or somehow they got switched. This was on the opposite side. So as soon as you engaged the blades, it would try to drive and take off. So like I said, I'm going to start it up here. I'm going to let it run for a little bit, see what happens, see if that smoke goes away. Well, tubers, got the idle set. Boy, does it run sweet for being seized up. That looks funny on camera. It looks like it's going like this, but really it's vibrating so fast you really don't even see it. It's just with the 60 frames that I've got going. No smoke. It's been idling for a good 15 minutes. If it was going to smoke, it was going to smoke then when I idled it back up, or revved it back up. Starts like a Honda. Almost sounds like it's gonna shut off, and then it doesn't. Well, color me amazed. I am surprised that it is bounced back so well. Like I said before, this thing doesn't look like it's got a lot of hours on it. The Honda I just sold, I know for a fact, as well as the way it looks, that it's got tons of hours. I sold it for 50 bucks. That's a pretty good deal on an old Honda. Oil's on the dark side, especially for the oil being pretty much new. I'll have to give that a change. Drain that oil out and get some more oil in there. I've just got some Chevron Supreme 10W40 in there right now. 10W40 is what I run in a lot of small engines, new or old. It's got the 10 weight, which makes it easier to start in the winter time, but once it gets up, nice and toasty. I mean, a lot of people say you use a 10W30 or a straight 30. I like a 1040. That's just what I use. But should we change that oil real quick on video? What do you guys say? Yay or nay? Sorry, what? Can't hear you. Yeah, okay, I'll change it. Give me a second. Alright, YouTubers. So we're going to change the oil real quick. We're going to do it just out of the dipstick tube here. I'm going to actually tip it over before I remove the dipstick. Try to cut down on as much mess as possible as I cannot keep it upright, and I'm spilling gas. That's just wonderful. Let's see. Let's pop the dipstick tube here. See how dirty that oil is when it comes out. How dirty is it? That's pretty black. It's pretty black for being pretty much brand new oil, like I said. I actually just noticed there's actually a drain tube, or a drain dipstick, or oil drain right there. Interesting. There's a hole right there to drain it out of, so it looks like you could drain it just directly out and put a pan underneath the engine. Make sure we get all that oil out of there. Alright, tubers, let's wrap this one up. We just filled it up again, 10W40 Chevron oil. Here's the old oil that came out of it. There is a little bit of metal shavings right here. We'll have to keep a watch on that, see if the next oil change or two has the same story. I wouldn't, expect anything less. I would imagine it would have some amount of metal flakes being seized up. The oil's nice and full. Right up to the full mark right there. And how you check any Honda is you just dip it in to the dipstick tube and pull it out. Doesn't matter what size it is. I believe it's the same thing. I know on my vintage Honda motorcycles, it's the same thing. You do not thread the dipstick in to check the oil. You just dip it in and look. So this guy's all topped off. Got fresh oil. It's ready for service. It's ready to go. What I'm going to end up probably doing with it is most likely taking it over to brother-in-law's house, my sister's house, letting them use it for a while, get some good hours on it. You know, it's going to have more power than the mower that they're currently using. It's very, very underpowered. So this guy will good for him, and I'll let him use it, put some time on it, and then I will update you guys possibly in a year, possibly in 2 years, or maybe at the end of the season. At the end of this season, maybe I'll give you guys an update. If you're watching this video now, I'll put it up on screen if there's an update for this mower. If it's not on screen, check the description. There should be 2 other videos in the description anyways right now, but in the future, once I do an update on this, that will be in the description down below. So yeah, that's it for this mower. I'm going to give it a nice bath, wash it up, make this paint all pretty again, and it'll be good to go. I got to find a bag. My other mower, my other Honda had a bag, but I didn't have it when I sold it, so I sold it without the bag. I believe it'll fit this one. If not, I'll buy a bag for this. But not bad. I'm pretty happy with it, especially being seized up and getting it running again. See you, tubers. I hope you have a good one. Bye.